the sheep love their daily dose of poison, and they get it regularly, folks. I've said it once and I'll say it again. I walk Luna every single day and every single night. And when I do walk around the neighborhood at night, and I usually do, I mean, during the day I'll take her somewhere, but at night I'll walk her around the neighborhood. And every single night, unless the power's out, folks, there is so much blue light coming through the blinds of these people's homes, neighbors, etc. It's because the televisions are on. People love their daily dose of poison. You ever think of how ridiculous this equation is, folks? That you work 9 to 5 for the most part, or longer. You come home, you make dinner. More often than not, it's garbage. And more often than not, you've eaten garbage throughout the day and you've stimulated yourself with energy drinks, etc. to get through the day. But then you come home, you make dinner. We can't even call it dinner. And we don't try to tell me, oh, people try their hardest and all this other crap. Shut up. Shut up. Statistically speaking, Americans eat shit as if it's the greatest thing on the planet or in this dimension. So I don't need to hear it. I don't need to hear a bunch of cucking in defense for the Matrix, if you will. You want to defend the nonsense thing, go ahead. But I won't do it. I will not do it. This is a sick equation, and it needs to end if we ever want to pull ourselves out of this mess. And it starts with things like unplugging your goddamn television. There is so much blue light coming through these televisions, smartphones, tablets, etc. And blue light is a wavelength of light that is highly weaponized because it tells your brain, by way of your pineal and pituitary pathway, if you're taking in blue light, and we all are at the wrong time of day, it goes into your photoreceptors and it tells your brain to not secrete endogenous melatonin. There's multiple other things that are supposed to secrete that don't, because we're taking in massive amounts of blue light. So I've gone over this a multitude of times. I'm not going to get into all the entire breakdown of how this works, but in essence, modern lighting has way too much blue light. Blue light is in sunlight as well. It's one wavelength of sunlight. And the role of blue light is to go into your photoreceptors and make you alert. And it does that by way of telling the brain to stop secreting endogenous melatonin. So in nature, when the sun goes down, we're supposed to be in an absence of light. And in an absence of light, your brain starts secreting what it's supposed to do, because we are a symbiotic creature with our environment in the shifting of the cycle, or the shifting of the seasons. You see, they've messed us all up on such a deep level, and the most subtle things like lighting are one of the biggest factors as to why or how they've fucked us up so much. And we all think it's so great, right? We just love it. The convenience, shopping on Amazon at 11. Look, honey, it'll be here tomorrow. Oh, Prime's getting so great. Oh, my goodness. All this nonsense, guys. It's subtle poison. Subtle fucking poison. And a lot of you guys are too dumb to even put the pieces together and realize that this is transhumanism. This is transhumanism. They're modifying our genetics. They're changing the way our body works. And they're giving us a massive inundation of smart devices that make our life convenient. But these smart devices, as they evolve, you guys, they get more and more weaponized. And before you know it, everything on your phone will be able to be implanted into you. And I know that sounds very science fiction, but that's the future, you guys. That's what all the bigwigs are talking about. That is the aspirations of these insane fucking oligarchs that are running the show from behind the scenes. This is insanity. This is absolute insanity, and I have no more patience for the sheep. These people are destined, wired, whatever you want to call it, for their own destruction. They participate with it, and they love it. And they will fight, kick, and scream to defend the status quo. You know, and enough of this shit. You've got to start, it's like the X-Files. Trust no one. Trust no one and trust nothing. No thing. Until you verify. We take in a lot of units of information and we accept them as fact without even knowing why. It's called the cultural consensus. So there's a lot of different factors, It's the brainwashing. It's the weaponized lighting systems. And it's not, again, just your fucking tablet and your smartphone and your television. It's also in the fucking street lights, you guys. They're giving us a full moon and a high noon sun 24 hours a day, and I'm going to explain that in a minute. But it's in the car lights, the LEDs, the CFLs. Modern lighting is absolutely dangerous. But you'd never put the pieces together, or for the most part, the sheep would never put the pieces together because it's such a convenience. It's so easy to pass by, escape the conscious recognition. Lighting, you guys, not good. Blue light and the modern lighting systems also do damage to your skin. But the real damage is done by way of suppressing or telling the brain to stop secreting endogenous melatonin at the right time of day and night. At night, whenever you go to bed. That's kind of a word soup, so forgive me. But where was I going with that? Long story short, I don't want to get into some huge rant here, you guys. But do you ever stop to think of what it's doing to you to constantly absorb this blue light and to constantly have your pineal pathway altered? They're fucking with your hormones, you guys. Do you have any clue what 10 plus years of chronic blue light exposure from tablets and devices does to your brain and your health, especially your mental health? You ever wonder why people are so goddamn insane right now? And it's only getting worse. It's funny, as technology evolves, people get more and more and more insane. There's more crime now and just absolute insanity than I've ever witnessed, you guys. And it's accelerating at an ever exceeding rate. God damn. All these people want to talk about consciousness and they want to talk about, walking the path and all this crap. But you go into their homes and they still have televisions and they're still doing things that are proven to be highly destructive to their own being, especially their mental health, you guys. The mental health right now is just in the absolute shitter. It's not just food and what people eat that makes them ill. It's lighting. It's having no path in life. It's from being thrown around in this hedge maze and not, never even discovering their true will. We're lost satellites drifting. Kind of like that Tool song Reflection. Might want to check it out. This is absolute insanity. So it takes your conscious recognition of these weapon systems to start denying them and to start living a life that's more fulfilling and health, and that will give you health, folks. You see, the system gives us things that makes our life convenient, but it robs our well-being as a byproduct. And what it takes from you is far more than what it gives. Far more than what it gives. So, again, went on a walk earlier. Walked around the neighborhood. 99% of the damn fucking houses had massive amounts of light coming through the windows. And you can tell it wasn't lamp light. It was blue light. All the sheep sitting around the fucking television, watching American Idol and all the other crap. It makes me sick. It's kind of like, it makes me think of the name of that Marilyn Manson album. I think it's called Portrait of an American Family. And if my memory serves me well, the cover has a bunch of idiots around a television just absorbing information. This is sick. And they give you your information in your television, right? It's what instructs your mind to know all these stupid current events. Everybody's plugged into the same hive mind Borg. It's like this information machine that just shits this garbage information out right into your forehead, right into your brain. My God. Stop listening to the cultural consensus. Unplug. Stop paying attention to all of the controlled chaos that they're spawning right now, folks. All the shootings, all this other crap, folks. You're not going to ever be able to change that. Not especially in your pathetic lack of power that you currently harbor. Focus on doing what's right for yourself and your loved ones, and everything else will follow suit. You've got to get some of your power back, folks. You do. And I mean that quite literally. I'm not like these sheep on YouTube that say, take your power back and provide no solutions. There's multiple solutions on this channel. You can directly experience the acquisition of your lost power. Your senses will open up and you'll be able to transcribe or understand more of what the Matrix is trying to convince you and hoodwink you into doing so that you lose your soul as a byproduct. Catch my drift? It's called participation. You don't have to participate with this nonsense. And you can get to the point where you've established a state of health that's beyond what the system's norm of health is. I'm talking about power. I'm talking about ether. I'm talking about fire. Kundalini, folks. This is what they want to stop. Don't you see that? Aren't you paying attention? I hope so. Or are you like millions of these lost souls that are on the earth plantation as slaves? And how can you not be a slave? You are a slave to your karmic. I'm not even going to get into that, folks. All I'm going to say is you're in bondage to this. We're all exposed to this insanity. But let me just go back a few and just say that and remind you that it takes your conscious participation. Once you become privy to what's going on here, it requires your conscious participation for you to engage in it. And that's even worse when a conscious individual goes back into the madness to find peace within the emptiness. How pitiful, to quote Tool again, the same song, Reflection. Finding peace within the emptiness here. This is a broken system, and it's designed this way intentionally. This is a test. Do you not see that? Your heart is being weighed on the scales of Mayat. Do you not see that? Do you not sense it? Do you not feel it deep within your bones, within your blood? Do you not have a genetic memory of this? You're a lot more aware of what's going on than you give yourself credit for, but you've lulled yourself, into a state of slumber. And your day-to-day consciousness now resembles a deep unconscious sleep. There's no lucidity. Getting healthy requires you to become lucid. It takes action. Lucidity requires action because once you become lucid to the truth, you're at a fork in the road, aren't you? You either keep going down the current or you swim up current. Swimming up current takes effort. It builds your muscles, though. You see, the easy path is for the sheep. They're floating down the river in the sun on their little rafts with their beers, but they're not privy to the fact that cliff, there's a cliff coming at the end of that river. It's a 300-yard fall with jagged rocks, not only at the bottom, but along the way. And if you do somehow manage to fucking make it, there's carnivorous animals that are hungry for human blood at the bottom. I'm talking about this. This is the wheel of you're stuck in the realm of miasma, and you're in a repetitious cycle. So you can either figure out what you need to while you're here, or you can keep going down that cycle until you do figure it out. And some people are destined for that. It's not in their cards. It's not in their destiny. It's not in the horizon. They're destined to be on the path that they're meant to be on. And and again, you can't help everyone. I know this has been said before, but I'm going to say it again, and it sounds a little new agey, folks, but you really can't help anyone until you help yourself. How can you, a lost soul, and I'm not judging and pointing fingers at anyone, so if you take offense to that, you should listen to that. How could you, a lost soul, help anyone when you haven't even helped yourself? You see what I'm saying? The blind lead the blind, the lost lead the lost. Get off the slave plantation. Stop staying in the confines of the sheep, the sheep where all the sheep are, and start walking up the damn hill. Climb up the mountain. Be the goat. Get to the top and have a full vantage view of what's around you. Man, what a mess. What a mess. And people should be ashamed of themselves. They really should. I'm not into this preachy elite garbage. No. There's no more time for this, folks. There has never been a more obvious line in the sand. It is time to pick a side. You might be able to stimulate yourself until death and be numb the whole time and never really feel anything and get out of this mess without having to put in much of an effort. But guys, what do you think? You really think you're not going to have to pay for your actions here in this world? You really think that everything you do isn't inscribed in the book of life? You see, just because you're not aware of that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. This reality doesn't work the way you think it does, fool. We are in a hyper-complex soul, or a test of sorts, folks. We are in the underworld. We are in a transitionary state between two realms. And what you do with your time will forever echo. It will forever echo in the internal chambers of your heart, the sacred space of your heart. I'm talking about the Merkaba. Now, what you do with your time dictates or instructs the heart on how to create your reality. And everything that you do is inscribed in that heart of yours. But you were never really taught about the mystical and magical qualities of your own heart because you've been programmed to think that all it is a fucking pump. You've been instructed and led astray, and you now think, due to modern science and all this crap, physiology, etc., that the brain is the kingpin here. No, it's the heart, folks. It's the heart. What you do dictates. It's like writing hieroglyphics on the inside of your subconscious or on the inside of the chambers of your... Do you know what the sacred space of the heart is? Do you? You should look it up. The Egyptians were privy to the power of the heart, and that's why they put such a huge emphasis on it. Man, what a mess. What a fucking mess, you guys. So I do hope that this channel can benefit you in some way, shape, or form. I hope it can put a little fire under your ass, too, if you're wasting time. There's no more time for that, folks. You're either a warrior or you're not. It's that simple. You're either a hunter or you're not. And I mean that spiritually, not physically. Or not literally. I mean, this is allegorical. This is symbolism. Speaking in metaphor. You're either the damn hunter or you're not. You're either the warrior or you're not. What does a warrior or a hunter do? Well, I'm quoting Don Juan Matus from Carlos Castaneda's books. Every little action is calculated. You live a tight life. There's no what ifs. You're in control. See what I mean? And that starts with what you eat. That absolutely starts with what you eat. You want to clean your life up? Start monitoring what you eat. Exclude the crap. And if you are going to eat crap, fast before you do it. Not everyone can afford to eat, all this expensive food. So you do what you can. I've gone through periods of poverty where I ate out of the fucking dollar store for months. Wasn't perfect, but Jesus Christ, I was able to, with my intermittent fasting, I was able to eat for so cheap and still dominate this game that we're playing. And I don't need to have any sheep wants to tell me otherwise. I mean, come on. I'm not even going to say that. There's so many people that think they've got it figured out, but you've never had Christ consciousness. And without that, you have no reference point. You don't know how your soul is literally trapped in the miasma, in a matrix, a realm of illusions. Being conscious isn't, I eat my grass-fed meat and I that's all I eat. I eat only from the farmer. Vegetables are all bad. No, that's not true. You've been led astray. You caught on to this whole carnivore diet shit. And there's some truth to it, but it's not completely true, folks. People just follow trends. They follow trends. What was I going to say? There's a middle pillar here, a middle path, and it's not for everyone to see. It's not easy to see. You've got to walk a tighter line. See what I'm saying? You've got to walk a tighter line. And that starts with what you eat and how you eat. It's not just about what you fucking eat. Everyone wants to say that. I just eat a keto diet and I don't eat any vegetables because vegetables aren't natural. Well, either are your animals that have been crossbred and selectively bred. Like, get a grip. Shut the fuck up and listen for once. Learn something. But it's not just what you eat, it's how you eat it, fool. And no one's talking about this. I'm talking about extensive blessing of one's food, using the work of Masaru Emoto, putting in the effort. These are the foods and fuels that you're going to put into your body to 3D print yourself and rebuild yourself. It's not just about what you eat, it's how you eat and the amount of intention you put into it. Anyways, I'm going to wrap this one up. Peace out.
I can't help but ask myself daily, what the fuck is actually going on here? I have witnessed so many radical changes to this world in the 32 years that I have been here, most of them sadly drenched in evil. The enemy is busy building its empire, a dystopia built upon the ashes of a free world forgotten. AI, surveilled, digitized, genocide, scorched earth, hive mind, drone. We are being led by demons, masquerading as our saviors. An iniquitous oligarchy composed largely, but not entirely, of an elite class of psychopathic technocrats, eugenicists, behavioral psychologists, etc. Operating entirely through subterfuge, this consortium of evil has created a most genius veil of camouflage, enabling them to quite literally pose as a knight in shining armor coalition of humanity's saviors, promising to liberate the masses from the very afflictions that this inner circle of evil gave birth to. Ephesians 6:12, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places.